a lot of people on it right now. So I have a roommate and I have a TV downstairs that's on a cable access network, and I'm doing a Wi-Fi connection through someone. So it's the reason why. But the characters that I try to portray, or the character that I try to portray in my stories, I really want to make multi-dimensional, but also I want to kind of break through that whole aspect of thinking that a character is in a certain way. But I also know that I have to say something about what society is today. I know that, and society is constantly changing, and people are constantly changing, and people are constantly thinking about other things, and people are constantly saying things about other things. They're doing things about other stuff. They're just being brand new people than what they thought they'd be before. They're being brand new people, and when you're being a brand new person, it's like you're when you're trying to be a brand new person for someone, like like in a relationship, you start out like, oh hey, how's it going? How are you doing? The formalities and the formalness and stuff like that, and then but then you get to start to know someone. You get to start to know someone at their core, like what they really like to do and how they really like to do things. You can understand what kind of person they are by kind of what they're doing, I guess. But or what they like, I guess. But you get to a core of what a person really values. Like, not only do they like the stuff on TV or like the stuff on the internet or like the stuff on comic books or actual books or graphic novels, but you can see the way that they consume media, like how they consume, the way that they want to be acknowledged in a certain way. And the more they want to be acknowledged as a certain person, the more they want to be vilified as a certain person, the more you kind of get an aspect of what kind of life they live. The more you get an aspect of what kind of thing they are, or who they are as a person. And if they don't want to be seen or known, then it kind of gives you an aspect of like, wow, this person they value their privacy, or they value the things that they want to do, or they value something that they want to believe in. And thinking about all those things that kind of roll into one, the belief that changes over time is oh, I'm okay with this now. Is the belief that changes over time is what we're okay with. The belief that changes over time is what we see ourselves, how we see ourselves changing to a relative term, or to a relative aspect of what how we want to change over time. The more I see a big ratio of change in the world, the more I think that ratio of change is the people changing. Is society itself adapting to people, and people adapting to society, and saying that, hey, I'm okay with this, this, and this, and this. But when a person themselves tries to change or reimagine what they think society is, or reimagine even what a certain person believes in, like say for instance the words that I said, what I want to do is change the way that people view America or the American, and really kind of squash the reality of what people think, of how people think a certain thing should be done. And not just seeing yourself like, oh, that's nationalism. That's a word that was used to describe people who were patriotic and valued their privacy. But understandably so, how much do they value their privacy? Do they value their privacy enough to be able to do something terrible or mean or obstructing justice or doing terrible fucking things that annoy and hurt people's feelings? And also, the things that I do, and also that tells you to, oh man, in so many ways.
I'm really, really sorry. Ow, ow, ow. Oh my God! Ah!
It's just a possession. Let it go. Now! Move!
Idiot.
Fuck me!
Citizens report at 480 west of...
I'd say most times what you actually even understand,
Shit. Cops.
or what you should understand,
Keep our eyes peeled, dispatch.
and also by reinventing something or reimagining something. Because for a different generation, things have to be reimagined. Things have to be reimagined, things have to be re-looked into, because it's not the same way as it used to be. There's an entire technology that pushes our entire existence. That makes our existence even better by helping us, and in some ways could change and revolutionize fields forever. To the point where we would just be served, and things were, and also, that's the point where it stops though. That's the point where it completely and utterly needs to stop. Like,
That was close.
a point where you can, you have the option, if it were ever available, to do those certain things. You want the option to be able to make those certain things be available for people who have disabilities, who have certain things in their lives that they need to get to on time, like say for instance people who are in certain agencies of business and all that. I just burped. But understanding where you think you're supposed to be in life, understanding where that thought ever came from, understanding what you were comfortable with, and how you were comfortable with something, and how you don't feel like changing, can literally mean the World War III. And how you view someone through binoculars. What they do and how they do it. how you see them and how you perceive what they do at all, when you see that, when you see a person change right in front of you, or not change, like change mentally, how they change personalities, what you would see through certain binoculars, like a person going from completely sitting down and saying nothing to upright yelling and screaming in someone's face. You would imagine that that person themselves are fed up with something, or pushed through to an edge by someone, or in some ways they are either trying to manipulate or to push forth a situation where they feel as though they're being appreciated, where they feel as though they're being looked after, or they feel as though they're being wanted, I guess. When you see into those binoculars and you realize something that's happening far away from you is something that's completely either terrible or something like that, or completely different than what you see in your own society. Everyone and everything can say and use whatever excuse they want to change society and how they want to change it. But once society is changed, what about the next person that wants to change society?
Oh, come on, don't cry. I'll make it up to you.
What about the next person that wants to change that society, so, or like either if or and they're being used by some other entity or form or person to be able to what's the word? In order for you to see without the lens of hate, do you get rid of hate, or do you get rid of that which you hate? That which you hate. In order to see through a lens guided without hate, or without fear. I just farted. And that's the reasons why I try to build on my characters, or I try to build on what I think my character is. I try to think, not only is this character experiencing everything that they're going through as far as this thing and experiencing the change, they've experienced change before. They've experienced change a whole bunch of times. They've experienced this change constantly, and I think that it would change the course of which people actually expect a character to even... It's like they have characters that have these flaws, or these things, or this stuff, and you expect that these flaws would, as far as in today's cinema, you'd expect these characters to express some sort of emotion sometimes whenever things happen, or whenever people are in a way, or that they would need some sort of solidarity or silence to be able to think sometimes, but they just say things. It reminds me about people and how they're acting, or how they act in a movie or in a certain sort of film. They always know what to say and how to say it. And I think that's the reason why I think a lot of different cartoon shows were trying, or not a lot of different cartoon shows, mainly Rick and Morty. They were trying to put into an aspect of saying, well, maybe this person doesn't have it all there. Like, maybe this person doesn't have everything. I mean, the idea itself was great, and also to the idea of being stupid and dumb and all that other different stuff that happened on the set. I think that doesn't take away from the fact that I think
You're giving out bad vibes.
I think that the change is worth it. That not every character in every single form of theater needs to know exactly what they're going to say, exactly how they're going to say it, exactly when they're going to say it. Because they formulate those words just as soon as they say them. So how would they be able to express them with such ferocity or such emotion or such interstellar fucking like interstellar wit? There we go. To be able to say to someone else, to something else, how they're gonna be, because you expect that character themselves has a personality, and that personality is within a mind. And within that mind, but understandably so, that personality is a blank slate sometimes. People think that also too they need to have that character that has the monochromed spray painted exterior to be able for them to, or the mute face, or the mute hero, or the what is it called? I'm not sure what it's called, but I know a neutral hero, or the neutral mask, or whatever. For them to be able to put themselves in that situation. But understandably so, if they were able to do that, if they were able to realize those situations happening, then that person must have gone through an immense amount of training, or like, oh man, there were so many aspects of certain movies that people have complete plot holes about, and they're just completely fine with those plot holes. I don't get it, and I don't understand it. And as soon as that plot hole rears its ugly head, the reason for this inconsistency, I guess this inconsistency is, and that's probably the reasons why I don't watch a lot or read a lot of books anymore. Because I realize that the act of reading words themselves is stopping me from seeing the entire storyline. The act of looking at one word at one time is stopping me from being able to see back to a certain other point. To be able to say, wow, that person really experienced that thing. And whenever they experienced that thing, this happened because of it, or as a result. It's like the act of reading words makes you think that you're smarter because you're experiencing the word itself, but within that realm, you're not actually experiencing the plot line, because the plot line could have as many holes as it wants to. And that's what I see sometimes with people who experience media and experience stuff and experience a whole bunch of different things. But also, too, it takes a while for me to be able to get to these kind of thoughts sometimes. It takes a really good amount of talking for me to be able to get through to these kind of thoughts. Because sometimes I never even thought about what I was going to say sometimes. But I realized that stuff was happening immediately. And I gotta blow something up. I think the most we push ourselves through to things that we think we know, to character arcs and story arcs that we think we understand.
Coming out of your mouth. Karma's a motherfucker.
$11, yeah. I got 10,570. Nice. That's the reason why I don't read books anymore. That's the reason why it's hard for me to write. It's not because I don't read books. It's because I'm afraid that I'm going to put someone through that same experience. through that same experience of experiencing words and not experiencing a story. Because you can express that in a story in fantastical ways to be able to make sure or see someone's reaction. Like, wow, that's amazing that you're able to say those words like that. Or that you're able to make sure that those words themselves are able to come out through the page and come to life because of the way that you punctuate them. But understandably so, where's your storyline? And if your storyline isn't amazing, then I'm gonna have no part of it. If your exclamation point doesn't, if the tense in what you put your words doesn't, let's say what, and I'm not using this as a certain tool to weed out anyone or anything like that. I've actually weeded out a lot of people who are in popular demand right up to this day. And also two people also to people want something that they themselves find new. But within those programs or certain storylines and certain story arcs and character arcs and pretty much anything you can think about. Like, as far as a story goes, is that story compelling? Is its story not only just words on a page, but is that story telling you something that is once lost?
Crap! Oh, shit!
Like, is that story a euphemism for something that actually happened? Or is that story a metaphor for something that actually happened in the past, or could happen in the future if people are responsible, or if people are responsible themselves? I mean, could it be something that actually even like exists, like in real time, like now? But also in the same sense, would you take that story and would you crumble it up and say, no, I don't want that story to be able to be on someone's ear or on someone's iPhone or on someone's Android tablet, to be able to see through what that guy's actually means, is that I'm building a world that people can experience. Then notice that every single person that is a worker, that is some sort of anything, like even you could be working at Wendy's or McDonald's or anything like that, and within that same storyline, within that same plot line, you are the reason for someone else's inspiration. You are that reason, because people can say whatever they want to say about you, or however they want to say anything about you. Whatever they want to say, it doesn't matter, because if you know who you are, if you know how you are...
This is U.S. Army airspace. Divert or we will take you down.
In a certain way, though,
Let's go!
I really should have gone up higher. And I can relate whatever I'm saying to GTA. Or also I can say that I'm not going to do that this time. Um, the more we try to relate to something that isn't us, the more we start to see ways around our own lives and the ways around into someone else's life. But the more we try to change society, the more indefinite roadblocks we run into. If we try to change an economy so abruptly and so without style, I guess.
Make me suffer. Sweet Jesus.
I've noticed that I've noticed that a lot of times the more you express your opinion that's not in line with someone else's opinion, the more opposition you're met with. Or the more people don't want to hear what you know or what you have because of the experiences you've been through. The more people shut themselves off from whatever experience they've actually been in. Or whatever experience they're going through right now. People can start to say they know what you're going through or they know how you're going through it, but in some ways they don't know how it's affecting you. And it's always good to be able to get an idea about something else that's out there, something else that can push you through to the edge of something bigger, the edge of something more fun, I guess. And it's also good to see things change, because the more things change for the better, the more you'll realize that it was completely worth it to be able to hold out for so long like you did. I can say that I'm an introvert through experience. And through that experience, I imagined that I would be able to rule a world.
Southbound west of facility.
Or at least to change it.
Units reporting a reckless driver.
And that was just within my own imagination. And then within that story and realizing how much I changed and how much that story changed me, I wanted to share that with people. Because not only is it a story of someone who emerges and realizes that not everything is the way that he thought it was, or that it's like you come up with rules for yourself. You come up with rules about what you'll never do and how you'll never do it. And through emotion and rage and frustrations, and also inspiration themselves.
Suspect has crashed.
Roger.
You can start to see a pattern manifest itself.
Officers report 505, close to, Earl's Mini Mart.
And you can start to see what people actually believe in and how people actually believe it.
Suspect northbound in a, red Karen Hilton.
And through realizing certain emotions, and through seeing certain emotions, and how those emotions actually start to make a real world experience, you'll be able to see those characters through not only a looking glass, but through
Officers report
a pair of binoculars, like it's happening in your world. Because it might as well be. Not to say that it is, but it could have. And it could have possibly
Roger that.
changed the face of what we saw and how we saw it. Or at least how I saw it. Because no one else went through that same experience except me. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself, because I do have special needs in some ways. People would think that people would think that in some ways I'm not making this story up, and that's how close and how near my heart it really is. I really think that if I gave myself the chance, I'd be able to make an amazing story and an amazing piece of work. And I think that's where I'm going to end it right now, because seeing a character that defies logic or defies what we think or how we think, or introspective, any kind of introspective, I'm going to shoot this dude with this sniper rifle. Alright, whatever introspective kind of, perspective, or, or whatever insight is available about them, I really think that this thing could go somewhere. And that it could transcend a lot of what people actually think. But also, too, in the same sense, I'm waiting. Because I'm not going to share my idea with just anyone. Just anyone that can share it with anyone they want to. And then however they want to change it, or whatever they want to do. And then eventually give me a job as a janitor cleaning up the floors to it. Because I'm not going to be a janitor. But I'll respect the janitor, because I've been one. I realize it's a very, very respectable job. And also sometimes the janitor might have ideas that no one else does. Thank you for listening, if you ever do. And I know that I'm not going to get an audience that quickly, but I only do live streams, so I'm going to have to find a way to make sure that I can get people onto a certain thing, and to make sure that I can get some privacy, because my friends like to argue because they have a stupid relationship and they need to break up. But really wish they would have stayed friends. But it's okay. Be yourself and make sure that you can go out and change something for every day. You are your own one-man bomb squad, metaphorically speaking. And you can change and diffuse any situation just by sometimes just walking away. But also, if you're invested in a certain relationship or in a certain thing, sometimes you can't. And you have to realize and understand the situation beforehand. And you have to make sure and get your tools ready. All your... And I'm going to shoot this dude with a freaking sniper rifle. Yeah! Then we're going to keep going. And also, my dad was long-winded, so I'm going to keep talking sometimes. That's how he used to punish us. We did not get a beating. It would have actually been easier if we got a spanking. We never got a spanking. He would always sit us down and talk to us really, really slow like. And then... Nice. And then he'd tell us exactly the things that we did wrong over 1,000 times. It really sucks when you're just sitting there and your dad is just like... telling you a whole bunch of different stuff that's really pertinent when you get older. And then he tells you it for like an hour. For an entire hour. No bathroom breaks. No bathroom breaks at all. You have to sit there for an entire hour. Sit there completely just like you're supposed to sit there. And then that's what they do. They just tell you and talk to you. They talk to you and tell you things. For an entire hour. You know how long it is for an entire hour? When you're a little kid and you're hopped up on sugar? I couldn't keep my attention for more than 20 seconds. And I'd have to keep relearning everything, from every single subtext to context clues to everything. And I think that this is my punishment that I'm doing to myself to make sure that I can stay motivated. I don't have to punish myself. It's not punishment. It's my hour, basically, that I had to sit down and realize that no matter how many times he was coming up with ideas, I was coming up with ideas because of it. And a punishment should inspire you. A punishment really should inspire you, because it should inspire you to do better and make sure that you're not just coming up with stupid little idiotic thoughts in your head about the next thing you'll do when they stop talking. You're supposed to think about the pattern that's the reason why I think that I turned out to be the person that I am. And I have to thank my dad and my mom for being so kind and so generalistically, impatiently abrupt and talkative, conversationalist. So or else I wouldn't be the person that I am. I'd probably never even talk. Thank you so much, parents, and thank you for listening, if you ever did, or if you ever do, or if you ever want to, or if you ever feel like it. This is my second outro that I made. There's another dude on the... Shit. I was on the phone.
Christ alive!
Be a better person every single day. And I made it through today, so I know you can too. Alright? Have a good day now. You hear?